This is News Today. The main opposition, New Patriotic Party, has held a press briefing to brief Ghanaians on recent happenings in the party. This comes in the wake of perceived fighting within the party following the removal of the party's communications director, Perry Okudzoto. He was asked by the General Secretary, Kwabena Agyapong, to take his 2 years accumulated leave effective Monday, 18th August 2014. This has incurred the wrath of some national executives who have described the unilateral action of the General Secretary as unconstitutional. The NPP Northern Regional Chairman Bugri Nabu, incensed by the development, has called on the party's National Executive Committee to suspend Kwabena Agyapong to serve as a deterrent to others. My colleague Kwabena Chencha has been following events that we can now cross over live to the headquarters of the NPP, where this press conference is ongoing. I understand the General Secretary, Kwabena Agyapong, is addressing members of the press.
To the first vice chairman of our party. And so who is destroying the party? Who is embarrassing the party? If you mount a campaign to discredit the chief executive of your party, do you love the party? No. And this is a party he joined in 2011. Yes, right. Well, some of us... And anybody who has come to visit me fills these forms. It's for record purposes. And we need to professionalize this office. And it just shows name, Felix entry, constituency, Infansima constituency, person to see, General Secretary. Reason for visit, personal, date, 5th August, telephone number, time arrived, 1:49.
Compared to the one published by them.
And so really, it is not true if you compare that to the list of things that the Daily Guide presented. I mean, I think as a people and as a party, let's treat people fairly. My dedication to this party is a matter of public record. From 1992, as a 30-year-old, in the face of a military dictatorship, I was one who was prepared to stand up and campaign for Professor Adubuahin of blessed memory. And I've worked with all our national leaders. I came into this job with a clean heart and a clear conscience, and the blessing of the Almighty God. Well, I've gathered a lot of evidence here that I don't want to discuss in public, because I'll present it to the steering committee and the disciplinary committee. Evidence, members of our party here who are supposed to be doing media monitoring for the party, supposed to be part of the party's communication team. And if you see the things that they've written about the chairman and myself, when they are supposed to be propagating the party, and the documents are here, and I'll present it to disciplinary action, and they will have to explain why they should be still in this party as part of our communications.
Yes. Right, General.
So I think we would stop here. If you have any questions, we will take your questions, be very frank, very honest, and we will discuss that with you. Thank you very much.
Before we take any questions, just one small point I wish to make. You saw the form that the General Secretary displayed.
Yes. Yeah.
You see, in other institutions, there is a book that you fill.
Yes.
But in this case, it's a slip of paper that will be brought up. Who do you want to see? It didn't say General Secretary. You could be coming in to see me, the chairman. You could be coming in to see the Director for Finance and Admin. You could be coming in to see the Treasurer or any other officer. It's there. But most important, there's a health and safety issue involved. The time you arrived, if there's a fire in this building and we all evacuate, immediately we will start going through the forms. We will start going through the forms. When the fire service arrives, we will say, oh, Felix came here at 1:49, he's not amongst us. And the fire started at 1:50. So a minute ago, this man was in the building. So fire service, please look for him, and he went to the General Secretary's office. So go there first to see if he has passed out and he's lying there. This is part of the professionalism. But you do this and then you get ridiculed. That they're even asking you to put your mother's date of birth down. I mean, what is this? Anyway, this was just an aside.
You please identify yourself. Yeah.
The press house and the name.
Please, my name is Daniel Benny. You can call me Ohim. General,
Which media house?
Which media house? Top.
yeah, top. Please, General, I would like you to clear this mess because it is alleged that many people were saying your interest is for Alan Cash. Because you want him to take our
Silence, please.
That is why all these kind of matters within this NPP party is going on because of your force changing new securities and those things. Because of that we are behaving because we just want to clear up.
Thank you very much for your response. Thank you very much for your response. First and foremost, those who elect the flag bearer of our party, in fact, in the General Congress, there are 140,000 people around the country. You know, so if I ask somebody to go and leave, how does that translate into votes for a candidate they claim I support? I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, it's bizarre. I have said that I'm neutral, and I am being attacked for saying I'm neutral. There are party officers, leaders of our party, who have come out and say they support a candidate, and nobody has said anything. We who are saying we are neutral. We want to provide a clean environment for this election to take place. And anyway, today the Electoral Commission has started printing the ballots. We are processing it and ensuring that by the 31st of August, we can have our special vote. That is our assignment. That is our job. We are focused on it. The albums for all the 10 regions are ready. I believe we will be able to dispatch it to the various candidates in the next few hours. So please, where is the evidence for the kind of claims that they are making? So I don't want to even listen to that. The fact of the matter is, as General Secretary, I took an oath to be neutral, to be fair, and to be objective. And that is what we expect everybody to do. In fact, I have come out to talk to party communication people. Because when you speak for the party, you have to be neutral and speak for the party. You cannot have a situation where people go and represent the party on radio and television, and they are introduced as members of the MPP communication team, and they go and sit there and then campaign for one candidate. That is not acceptable. We cannot let that continue under our watch. Thank you.
My name is Kogunti.
Yes. Which paper?
Today newspaper. Yes, I want to know concerning Mr. Perry Okudeku. I just want to know whether it is constitutional, that is within the NPP's constitution, for certain executives to go on leave, or you did it out of convention.
That is administrative. Leave is administrative. He's a deputy director of communications. The National Women's Organizer, who's an elected officer, has taken her leave already. What is wrong with somebody being asked to go on leave? I do believe, and I read you, that I have oversight responsibility. And if I feel that someone has to go on leave, I think the Constitution gives me the power to do so, and I have done it.
Sharp. My name is Saman what you just read to us concerning what your Constitution tells us about the hierarchy and what you are supposed to do. And having gone by these directions by the Constitution, am I getting the impression that your party, some of them, especially your first vice chairperson, which indeed you mentioned, is not interested in ensuring the Constitution for which you have built for your party works?
I think you can direct that question to him. You know where his office is. You know where you can find him. He is the best person to answer that question, not myself. Thank you.
General One.
Yes.
Chairman, your statement, you made a point that we are just ready for whoever the delegates will give the nod to be the founder of the party, and you make sure that person in 2016 election. To me, I think it demonstrates neutrality on your side. But then we have members of parliament demonstrating or clearly supporting a particular candidate within the race. In that regard, what exactly would you say to that comment, to the extent that some are saying things that people think are not the best for the party? And then again, you made the point that some people dare you to, you cannot do anything, whatever they've said against or whoever. Can you please know the new people who perhaps threaten you or the leadership because you wanted to correct things that is being done within the party to have a very prominent party to contest 2016 election?
It's not a question of threatening, it's daring.
All right.
I haven't said that. If you heard the statement, you listened to me properly, I was saying that the disciplinary committee will soon be sworn in, and all these matters will be placed before the disciplinary committee for the appropriate action to be taken. And that is where we will leave it. As to daring me, daring the General Secretary, daring the leadership of the party in terms of the National Council itself, that will also be dealt with in its own good time. But the guidelines that were read were very clear. Very clear. Thank you.
No, unless you want to add the first part of the question,
which was
the one MPs are supporting a particular candidate because you made a
that was answered. I said it will go to a disciplinary committee.
My name is Richard Scott. I work for City FM. I'll ask a couple of questions. The first one has to do with what you said. Now, the provision you read, I would want to combine, if you wouldn't mind, to read it again. There is some interpretation being put to that what you were saying is not that MPs cannot openly support a candidate, but that they cannot declare support for a candidate for and on behalf of groups within the party. I want you to clarify that position, whether it's a question of interpretation or the true and proper interpretation as what you say it is. In other words, are these members of parliament, the meeting rules, the guys who recently declared support for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and those in Ashanti region who did that over the weekend, are these people in violation of the guidelines? Secondly,
I want to respond to that. First and foremost, the guideline says you cannot declare on behalf of your constituency. I've heard some MPs who have said they are not only declaring their support, they are declaring the support of their constituencies. So that's a clear violation. It's a clear violation. Okay, you can declare your support, but even that is not my declaration. That is a declaration of the National Council. So it is either they are going to respect the dictates of the National Council or not. It is their party. It is our party. You understand? So if it's and there's a reason for that. When we are doing the final primary, it will be conducted as if there are 275 constituency congresses. Is that not correct? So the sorting out of the electoral list in each constituency will have to be undertaken by constituency officers. So you are like the Electoral Commission in this role. The delegates in that constituency have to be determined by the chairperson of that constituency. And so if you have come out to openly declare your support for one candidate, you think that you should be given that role? If the Electoral Commission right now decides that it has declared for one presidential candidate, you think that the MPP will be happy to let them oversee it? So that is why the National Council would take such a decision. Because an internal election is organized by the party. Yes, we'll get the Electoral Commission to come and help us in the final arrangements. Right now, as I speak, I have just concluded the sorting out of the electoral roll for the special voting. If I have openly declared my support for one of the candidates, do you think it's fair and right for the National Executive to do so? That is why we talk about neutrality. We are not saying they cannot vote or even go and campaign and talk to people that they should vote for the candidate of their choice. That has not been said. They understand it. I think it's just brinkmanship. They just want to take on the National Executive. Well, it's very clear who is in charge of this party. It's very clear there's only one central authority in this party. And we'll ensure that. We'll make sure that people, and we'll take our message to the party. We just want to safeguard the sanctity of the MPP and to respect our own rules. And those who intend to lead our country should respect our rules. We are a law-abiding party. We should not be encouraging the flagrant abuse of our guidelines. That is causing indiscipline in our party. And we are not going to sit there unconcerned. And that's why we've brought our case to the people. We are telling them that the only thing we are doing right now in our party is to ensure that we all go according to the rules that the party has set. These are not a Focus rules or a Japan's rules. This is the National Council. That's all.
Yeah,
I think there was a second question.
The issue of financial impropriety, I thought I heard that word from you.
Yes.
Yeah, the national chairman. You said that the former director of finance was not obeying authority, his bosses. He was caught up in a conflict of interest position.
Yes.
And that he had misappropriated, if that's the word.
No,
no,
he said there was financial impropriety.
Impropriety.
Yes.
Okay. Now, we need the exact details of...
Well, that is for the party to deal with. That is for
you
the party.
heard me. I said I was being circumspect in what I say.
Mr. Chairman, you have made public allegations...
Hang on. Please. We are sitting here having a press conference. We are not sitting here to be put in the dock. If there is anybody who believes that they are being maligned by what we have said, let them bring it into the internal party structures and we'll put our evidence there. We are not the type of people who will run into the public domain to start washing our dirty linen in public. That is why we are being circumspect.
Komna Chen Hene Boateng, who's been a man on the ground, is joining us from the to give us more on this. Hello, Komna.
Hello, Kemini.
Komna, we seem to have missed a lot before we joined live the NPP headquarters when Komna Japan, the General Secretary for the party, was speaking. Exactly what was he saying?
Well, indeed, you missed a lot. Let me start off on this note. The press conference was on the back of issues relating to the apparent or alleged sack or dismissal of Perry Okujeto, who was actually asked to proceed on leave. He had an accumulated leave of 4 years, but he was actually granted 2 years leave of 15 days. So he was asked to proceed on leave by the General Secretary in writing. And now it's on the back of this that this press conference was scheduled, together with other issues that we were later told of. Apparently, it was based on 3 issues. The first of them was the removal of Opare Hammond, which, and according to the chairman of the party who actually chaired the press conference, he says that Mr. Opare Hammond was relieved of his position because of financial improprieties. That was the accusation, that based on financial improprieties and also based on outright disobedience to his supervisors and his bosses. He failed to take orders and instructions, and he failed to act in the best interest of the party, and also improprieties in the handling of the party's finance. And even with that, the party chairman continued to say it even doesn't end with just Opare Hammond. There's a few more people, but he was trying as much as possible not to give out too much information. He's being circumspect. That's the word he actually used. He's being circumspect with the information he's providing. Again, he mentioned the composition of National Council as an issue that had come up, and that was also prompting this particular press conference. And with that, he said, according to their constitution, more than 50% of the members of National Council were to be appointed, and the other 50% were to be elected. So their election is in due course, is in line with the rigors of the constitution, and nothing wrong has been done in that regard. Now, to other issues, especially with the decision to ask Perry Okujeto to proceed on leave, the party chairman, that is Mr. Focus, says, as part of measures in the party intends to set out certain things clearly in the party, such that if you're a party official, henceforth, you will be required to take a 15-day leave. Whether you like it or not, you will be required to take a 15-day leave in the course of the year, so as to get people to proceed on leave when they are supposed to, and not to wait for such a long period before you go for the leaves. Okay, so specifically what he said was all senior officers of the party will be put on leave for a minimum of 15 days a year. Those were the words he used. Again, you know, when Perry Okujeto was asked to proceed on leave, the information we got was that 9 other people had been appointed as deputy communications directors. He said the party is trying as much as possible to set up a very powerful communications unit such that there's consistency, coherence, and effective distribution of information across board. So the appointment of the 9 people is not to more or less suggest that Perry is being sacked, but once he's back from his leave, he's going to join them, and they're going to be 10. And this, according to him, will help the party in its bid to disseminate proper, consistent information across the length and breadth of the country. Yeah,
let's understand this. The Deputy Communications Director for the party...
I can't really hear you clearly. If you could speak up a bit.
I'm asking that the Deputy Communications Director for the party, Perry Okujeto, has not been asked, as reports have said, to go on leave indefinitely or take his accumulated 2-year leave. That's not the truth Kwabena Agyapong is telling us.
Well, what the chairman said, and in fact later Kwabena Agyapong also mentioned that he is actually taking the leave. It's just, and he actually even cited the former. Oh, I think
for how long? For how long?
I think it's 15 days.
15
days.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Now, there were also allegations of financial impropriety. Could you elaborate on that briefly?
Exactly. He did mention, I mean, the chairman, Mr. Paula Foko, mentioned that when they actually came into office, they realized that even the secretary, the NPP secretary, had an account, a Forex account, being run by someone who apparently the party doesn't even know of or hasn't even heard the name before. There was a Forex account in the name of the party being run by people other than party officials. That's one thing he mentioned. He also mentioned that according to the list they had, the party had in possession certain assets which, when they went around to check, were non-existent. Plus a few other issues he failed to actually throw light on, because he says, again, he was being circumspect with the information he was giving out.
Kwabena, thank you very much for that clarification on issues we may have missed. But we'll just take a quick soundbite from the NPP headquarters.
Cutting up the elephant. Clearly, I'm not. And anyway, my good friend Charles Techibodu is here. In his article, he wrote at the end of it that I'm on my knees begging other officers to come to my defense. No. It is not true. I haven't. I haven't. If anything at all, some have been calling us to prevail on us not to have this press conference. Yeah. So if there's any begging, it's coming from the other side. So please, let's be fair to each other. That's all. Yes. Let's be fair.
Yes. That is the first man.
Yes.
Yes. Let's hear.
Can you identify yourself, please? Thank you.
Happy FM.
Yes. Yeah, I want some clearance here in the Okujeto's leave. You made mention of it, but it still sounds like people think he's been asked of his position. But you are talking about leave. Does it mean that he is coming back from leave?
Have you seen his letter? He is the one who has put it out. Read it.
You see, in the minds of people think that he have been asked to proceed on leave, just like the military type of proceeding on leave.
In fact, it said that when he comes back, he will be reassigned. So there's a letter to that effect. So please, you see, well, is there he himself, which is, it breaks internal party discipline and even corporate governance, that you've been given a leave letter, and the leave letter is now on the internet, internal communication, and you are an acting director and a deputy director, and you take an internal communication that you should go on leave, and tells you when the leave starts, which was yesterday, and when it ends, and that when you come out, shall reassign you. I know that we have acted in the best interest of the party, and we never went out. We've been silent to the extent that Daily Guide says that I'm out of coverage area. So today I want them to know that I'm not out of coverage area. I've been press secretary for 6 years, and I can deal with the media 24/7.
Oh, yes.
Yes, there was somebody with
We'll bring you more on that in subsequent broadcasts. Let's move to Boko, where 2 people were killed following a shooting incident in the area. The victims, Al-Hassan Hadi and Tijani Isaka, were shot in their homes at Patelma after evening prayers. I'm joined over the telephone by the Boko MC, Bukari Isahaku. Hello, Bukari.
Hello.
Bukari, you're welcome to the program. Now, tell us the latest on this matter. Now we hear that that DISEC is supposed to meet on this matter.
Yes, we just like I said in the morning, it happens around 5 minutes past 8 last night, where an unidentified group went and fired into a house. 2 people died instantly and 2 were injured. So the security took control last night, picked the body and the injured people to the principal hospital, released the body for the family. They have buried them this morning. We met this morning to strategize on what we can do to get the perpetrators on book. So strategically, the meeting, the plans and the strategies we have discussed is not to be aired or to be voiced out to the public, but there are strategies we have developed to ensure that we get the people who have done this act.
I see. Now, a lot of times when violence breaks out in that part of the country, we hear of strategies to deal with it, but it looks like these strategies over time haven't worked. What's new with the strategies? What's the assurance that these strategies you have come up with will indeed work this time around?
Yeah, I think this one is no more of a violence. It's not a group attack. It's an individual. It's more of criminal. A group of people, but 2 or 3 went and fired into others, and they died. So the security apparatus is on the ground. We're ensuring that we investigate to get the people, and when we get them, they will be brought to book.
Bukari, though it doesn't answer my question, we'll come back to what assurance you're giving about the strategy. But you're MC for the area.
Yes.
Good. Now, what I want to find out from you is the fact that it's not common for people to just get up and say that you're going into another person's home to fire at them.
No, it's not common. But you know, with criminality, anything can happen, and that is what I said, that the security is doing the investigation. For now, there has not been any arrest. The security is on the ground doing the investigation for us to know the real cause of why that has happened, and also be able to identify the perpetrators. Then the law will take its course.
Absolutely. I asked the question because you mentioned this is not an outbreak of violence in the area, but would you consider this an isolated case? Hasn't it got some sort of link with what may have happened in the past?
Yes, we can say it's an isolated case, and we are saying it's an isolated case because we need the evidence from the security to actually prove what type of what maybe caused that. There was a similar thing that happened on Friday morning in one of the communities, where somebody went into the house and also fired and killed somebody. That was a different thing, and this one is also different. So the security is actually doing their investigation to find out why that particular incident. And from there, then we know what to do about it. But for now, it's not more of an ethnic violence. I can't prove that because I relied on the security for them to get the information for us to know exactly why that has happened. And when we get the information, we'll be able to process it and they'll be able to arrest the perpetrators and make sure that the law takes its course.
The police is saying that indeed violence in the area are not necessarily, violent attacks in the area are not necessarily carried out by locals like we have heard in reports. For instance, in this case, we have, it's an attack between the Kusasis and the Mampusis. However, the police is saying that indeed some of these attacks come from the neighboring countries because Boko is a border town. Is that how you see this?
There are instances where, that is why I said there are some criminal issues happening. There are instances where criminals from Burkina or Togo come in and they have a business with those in Ghana, especially those dealing into cattle. And as a result of that, it brings some conflict among they themselves when they bring in and the others don't give out. And yesterday in the morning, as if we knew something would happen, Mustek met to see how we can strengthen security and see how get to assess the security situation in Boku. And that evening, this incident happened. And those are some of the signals we were taking, and we thought that it was good for us to strategize. So we met yesterday and came out with some strategies to do, and this just in the evening it happened. So the assurance is that Mustek is in control, the place is calm, the economic activities are going on well, but we are investigating and we ensure that when we get the culprit, the law will take its course.
Very well. Now, where are these two injured persons?
Where?
The two injured persons.
They are the Boku Principal Hospital. I visited them this morning after Mustek meeting, and they are responding to treatment.
I see.
There's one, they are supposed to operate the thighs, remove the bullet. That one, they have sent that fellow to the theater right now. But the other one is on the arm, and that one, the pillars have been removed, and he's okay.
It's good to know. Now, these deceased persons whose bodies were handed over to their families, do we know if they have been buried?
Yeah, they have been buried.
I see. According to Muslim tradition, I believe.
According to Muslim tradition.
Thank you very much, Bukari.
You're welcome.
Bukari is Municipal Chief Executive for Boko. Now, there's more ahead here on News Today. Please don't go away.